This is lesson 4.1, graphing equations in slope-intercept form. You've already learned how to graph equations using the x and the y-intercept. You've also learned how to graph equations by making a table of values. So today we're going to learn how to graph an equation that's in slope-intercept form using the slope and the y-intercept. And this will quickly become your favorite way of graphing an equation because it is the easiest. Okay, slope-intercept form, here it is. Y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope of your line, rise over run, and b represents the y-intercept, the point on the y-axis where the line crosses through it. Okay, so the first thing you need to do quite often is learn how to write the equation in slope-intercept form, okay, and then graph it. So let's look at number 1. Write and graph an equation with the given slope and y-intercept. So the slope of this equation is -1/2 and the y-intercept is +4. So I can say m equals -1/2 and b equals 4. So here's your equation. Y equals mx plus b. Simply substitute m and b. Y equals -1/2 x plus 4. Okay, so to graph it, the first thing you're going to do is plan your graph. So here's my x-axis, here's my y-axis. The first thing I'm going to do is graph, let me do this. Graph your y-intercept. That's going to be first. That point is at +4 on the y-axis. So we need to graph that point first. Okay, then once we've graphed that point, what you're going to do is you're going to use your slope, the 1/2, to rise and run to find two other points. So your slope is -1, that's down 1, and 2, +2, to the right 2. So let me do that again. Down 1, to the right 2. So there we find another point on this line. And then we will always do this in the opposite way. So it's -1, 2, +1, -2. So go ahead and go back to your y-intercept, and you're going to go up 1 and to the left 2 and graph your third point. Once you have 3 points, you can simply draw your line. Okay? So that's how you will be graphing these equations. So once again, you start at the y-intercept, draw your first point, then use the slope to rise and run to two other points on either side of the y-axis. Okay, let's go on. Number 2. Your slope is 2, your y-intercept is -3. Okay, so let's remember slope is m and y-intercept is b. And let's write this equation. Y equals 2x minus 3. Okay, so I know that my y-intercept is at -3. So I think I do need to put my x-axis up here somewhere, just to give me enough room to rise and run. Okay. All right, let's start with the y-intercept is at -3. So I need to plot that point there. And my slope is 2 over 1, negative 2 over negative 1. And I write it both ways for you so that you can rise and run easily. So from the y-intercept, I'm going to rise 2, run 1. There's my second point. And I hope these are showing up. I won't know until I watch the video. And then one more time. This time I'm going to go down 2 and to the left 1. And there's my third point. And there is your equation. Okay. Number 3 on your own. Pause the video now. Okay, the equation reads y equals negative 1x plus 5. And that negative 1 doesn't need to be there. It could also be y equals negative x plus 5. So your y-intercept is at positive 5, and your slope is at negative 1 over 1. So you go down 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the left 1. Okay? Okay, here we go. Number 4. Copy this down. 3x minus 4y equals 12. Now, in order to graph this, we must first rewrite it in slope-intercept form. Let me remind you what that looks like. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So isolate y on the left side of the equation. And then you have your x term, and then your constant. Okay? All right, so we want to isolate y. The first thing we have to do here is subtract 3x on both sides. We get negative 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. All right, next step is to divide by negative 4 on both sides of this equation. So y equals negative 3 divided by negative 4 is positive 3/4 x. Positive 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. So here we go. M is 3/4 and B is negative 3. Now that you know the slope and the y-intercept of this equation, graphing it is very simple. So let's first go ahead and draw our coordinate plane. Here's the x-axis. Please always label them. And there's your y-axis. We're going to start by graphing the y-intercept. So notice that this line goes through the y-axis at negative 3. So draw that, graph that point on your coordinate plane. From that point, we're going to rise 3, positive 3. We're going to run positive 4, and we'll do the opposite. We'll go down 3 to the left 4. Once we have 3 points, then we can graph our equation. Okay, please graph number 5 on your own. Graph number 5 on your own. Remember that you first need to write it in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Go ahead and rewrite it in slope-intercept form and graph it. Pause the video now. Okay, please check your work. Number 6 and 7 you can graph on your own. Pause the video, please. Okay, please check your work on 6 and 7. Okay, for a little extra practice, you're doing all of these, 1 through 9. And these are simply practicing writing the equation. You're going to write the equation from each graph. You got to find m and b. Okay, that's what you're looking for here. Find the slope. You have 2 points. You know how to do that. Find the y-intercept. Look at the graph and just write the equation. And then the third section here is you're going to graph them using slope-intercept form. Okay, we will continue to work with slope-intercept form tomorrow. God bless you. Have a great night.